Thank you. Good evening. Please stand for the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Okay, we're going to start with the approval of the minutes. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 9th, 2025, minutes of the regular meeting of the town board?
So moved.
Thank you, Robert, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And it's carried. We don't have any bid openings this evening or any public hearings. And the only supervisor update, I just like to tell the public, we do have a new section, thanks to our dog control officer on the website. And it is a doggy lost and found. And she runs into it all the time that dogs get out of their own property and have a fun time in the neighborhood. And so in order to reunite owners and pets as quickly as possible, she's utilizing the town website to post the pictures, but also she now has the ability to do push notifications. So if anybody is interested in being alerted, you can sign up on the app. Remember, the app is free. You can sign up on the app for the dog lost and found. So if a dog is lost or found and she puts an alert out, you will receive it on your phone. So we will be expanding the website as we get new suggestions and as we take a little time to make additions to it. So we do thank everybody who on the website did put in suggestions and or issues that they were having, and we try to make the corrections as we go. So please continue to do that if you have ideas. Okay, with that, that's all for me. We have the privilege of the floor next, which is public comment section. This section is specifically for agenda items only. So just a reminder, each speaker must wait to be recognized, only speak during the designated public comment section, state your name and address before speaking, speak at the podium, speak for no more than 3 minutes, only speak regarding town business, be brief and to the point, address comments to the board only, be respectful of all elected officials, town employees, members of the audience, and all other persons. And in order to ensure an orderly, productive meeting, residents will be heard before non-residents. Speakers will speak in entirety, then will be addressed by the board. Okay, does any member of the public wish to speak on an agenda item? Okay, so there is another public comment section at the end for any other issues. So we'll move on to Public Works. Just reminder to the board, everybody had the email with the updated agenda on it. Does everybody have it in front of them? Okay. Oh,
I
do you
did
have
that
the book?
because I couldn't get it different at home. So let me bring it up here.
Okay, sorry. It's just the wording of it's the same topics. It's just the wording. And since some of you will read it. Do you want my copy for now or? Okay, so we'll take them. No, Okay.
So resolution to authorize the highway department to accept a donation in the amount of $1,158.32 from Winnie Andrews. Per their request, this will be used to purchase a bench that will be placed at the rail trail.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn. And a second?
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. And is there any discussion on it? Okay, with that, we'll move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 And any opposed? Okay, and it's unanimous and it carries. And Sue?
Okay. Authorization for the board to approve payment in the amount of $855 to Hancock Estabrook LLP for outside counsel fees for professional services rendered through March 31, 2025.
Thank you. So do we have motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. And do we have any discussion among the board?
No.
Okay, with that, move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's carried and it's unanimous. With that, next section, I'm sorry, Sue.
Okay. Resolution to renew the agreement for cemetery upkeep, mowing, cutting, trimming with Matthew Husband. Mr. Husband will be paid $3,974 for his services at the Bun Hill Vestal Center, Lower Tracy Creek, Grounds, Plum Road, and Vestal Road cemeteries during the year 2025.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Robert. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? And it's carried. And I'm sorry, I should have mentioned discussion.
Okay.
The next one?
Resolution authorizing Patrick Harnan, Recreation Planner, to hire the following summer camp directors. All pay rates are budgeted and background checks have been completed. Nick Anderson, Vestal Camp Director, $700, June 30th, 2025. Amy Pittman, Vestal, as Cheerleading Camp Director, $700, June 30, 25. Kirsten Duff, Appalachian, Softball Camp Director, July 7, 2025, $700. Frank Dusty, Vestal Basketball Camp Director, $700, July 7, 2025. Nick Anderson, Vestal Baseball Camp Director, $700, July 14, 2025. Jeremy Dano, Appalachian Girls Lacrosse Camp Director, $700, July 14, 2025. Chris Dukowski, Vestal Boys Lacrosse Camp Director, $700, August 11, 2025. Joseph Nemechek, Appalachian, $700, Volleyball Camp Director, July 21, 2025. Gina Talbot, Endwell, Soccer Camp Director, $700 salary, July 21, 2025. Ronald O'Shea, Johnson City, Running Camp Director, $700 salary, July 28, 2025. Nick Anderson, Vestal Girls Basketball Camp Director, $700 salary, August 11, 2025. Vicky Sachs, Vestal Field Hockey Camp Director, $700, August 11, 2025. Bill Stepanovsky, Endicott Girls Soccer Camp Director, $700, August 11, 2025. Ryan Cummings, Johnson City Tennis Camp Director, $700, June 30, 2025. Zachary Smith, Vestal Girls Flag Football Camp Director, $700, July 28, 2025. Zorano Tubo, Vestal Pickleball Camp Director, $700, July 21, 2025. Austin Kiley, Vestal Acting Camp Director, $700, July 28, 2025. Nick Anderson, Vestal Elite Basketball Camp Director, $700, August 11, 2025. Austin Kiley, Vestal Acapella Singing Camp Director, $700, July 28, 2025. And Chris Musser, Vestal as co-ed Wrestling Camp Director, $700, August 4, 2025.
Thank you. Okay, do we have motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. And do we have any discussion?
No.
Okay, with that, we move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And it's carried and it's unanimous. Thank you, Sue, for reading
Okay.
everybody's name. Mhm.
10.3, resolution to authorize Patrick Harnan to hire Ashley Kupiak as recreation planner, as recreation supervisor part-time at the rate of $21.32 per hour, effective April 29, 2025, contingent on the successful completion of all town requirements. This position is included in the current budget.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. And do we have any discussion?
No.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, and it's carried.
10-4,
Thank you.
resolution to approve the specified additions to the employee handbook.
Okay.
Did you want me to read that or do you want to cover that?
No, we'll just note, well, first, can we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded,
Seconded.
and thank you, Robert. And, this, in the discussion, I'll just add that, the entire contents, the topics are for remote work. Uh, Payroll procedures and flex time accrual. And for the public, everything will be included if they haven't gotten it already. So is there any further discussion by town board members?
No.
No.
Okay, with that, we'll move to a vote. So do we, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And it's carried. Thank you. And planning and zoning, Robert?
Okay, 11.1, request from Vestal Little League to have vendors on town-owned property for their opening day festivities. They will be in the parking lot of Angelo Field. The food vendors are required to have proper permits filed with the town clerk's office, which will be confirmed prior to the event. Vendor names, purpose, location, and times are as follows. Sugar Lips Ice Cream will be providing funnel cakes, sweet tea, Angelo Field parking lot, 9 to 4 p.m. BC Bounce Parties, 2 bounce house slides, Angelo Field parking lot, 10:30 to 4 p.m. Silly face painting, children face painting, Angelo Field parking lot, 11 to 2. Here's the twist. Soft serve ice cream truck, Angelo Field parking lot, 11 to 2 p.m. Boy Scouts of America inflatable game, Angelo Field parking lot, 10 to 4 p.m.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn,
Second.
and thank you, Sue, seconded. And do we have any discussion?
No.
Okay, with that, we'll move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And it's carried.
11.2, request from town engineer Myers for the town board to review the.
Here.
Oh, yeah, I should read off of here.
This is the
Yeah,
voting,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. Excuse me a moment.
You got it?
11.2, resolution to approve advertising on May 7th, 2025, with a public hearing on May 21st, 2025, for the establishment of Consolidated Water District Number 1, extension number 207, at 337 Sycamore Road, tax map number 158.06-1-28.111, petitioner Murphy LLC.
Okay, thank you. So do we have motion
So moved.
and seconded?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
No.
Okay, and with that, we move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And it's carried. And the next one?
Okay, 11.3, resolution to authorize the town supervisor to sign supplemental agreement number 1 for the right-of-way acquisition phase and construction phase for the Vestal Rail Trail Phase 3 project. This project is being funded by NYS DOT TAP Med Urban Program, which funds 80% of the eligible project costs. The non-participating costs are 100% town funded. The estimated cost for right-of-way acquisition is $40,550. The town will be reimbursed 80%, $32,440 with federal funds. The town share is $8,110. The estimated cost for construction, CI, is $1,689,834. The town will be reimbursed 80%, $1,351,867 with federal funds. The town share is $337,967. The supplemental agreement adds $1,730,384 to the project.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved?
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Second.
Thank you, Sue. And do we have any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to mention that even though the wording here does say there's going to be federal funds, this is a section of federal funding that has not been targeted for any kind of cuts at this point. So we have pretty strong guarantees that this money will come through. So there's really no concern of this funding being taken away.
Okay. And we clarified that in the work session, so thank you. And is there any other further discussion? Okay, thank you for pointing that out. So with that, we'll move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's carried. Thank you. And Sue?
Resolution to authorize Stace Kittner, Police Chief, to accept $79,758 that was received from the Broome County District Attorney's Office to help cover the salary and benefit costs associated with our required discovery compliance program. These funds should be allocated to the Police Department's salary line A3120-1010 per the grant criteria.
Okay, thank you. Do we have motion?
So moved?
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. And any discussion on it?
No.
Okay, Yep. Mhm.
Do we have to vote for what you're changing on this? Because there's changes made to the agenda. I don't know if we have to vote and amend all of these. I guess it's a question for Dan. I've never had it changed after we've gone, so.
What have we changed?
we have changed nothing but the wording to make
The wording.
it make sense. The
Yeah.
wording is,
Have to read those.
yeah. So it's a procedural question. So basically it was written with the work session wording, which says that we're going to discuss stuff. So obviously, since we're voting on it, the wording has to be slightly different. The substance of every item is the same.
Which one are we referring to?
The-
Deborah.
The one, so like some of these ones were, she's referring to the whole thing.
Give me an example.
Resolution instead of.
Like it's a request from Stace Kidner that was changed to authorization to allow, which is different than the work session.
No, that doesn't need to be amended.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just, yeah, just for the record, there is no change in substance to the items, simply in the wording to make it
Yeah.
more applicable, to make it appropriate, I guess. Thank you. Okay, so what do? We motioned, we seconded?
We motioned, seconded, and voted.
Okay, and then the discussion part, and so, we didn't vote yet. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. And any opposed? Thank you, and it's carried. And next one.
13.1, resolution to reappoint Margaret Hedsell as a member of the Historic Preservation Commission until term ending 12/31/2027.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved?
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Second.
Thank you, Sue. And is there any discussion on it? Okay, so we move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's carried.
13.2, resolution to reappoint Mark Tomko as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals until term ending 12/31/2029.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved?
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Second.
Thank you, Sue. And do we have any discussion?
No.
Okay, so we'll move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And it's carried. Thank you. Okay. Sue, did you want to read it or I'll read it? Doesn't matter.
Receive and file warrants 2025, 14G, 14M, 14T, 15C, 15G, 15M, 15T, 16C, 16G, 16M, 16T. These are basically the bills that were presented to the town and paid. They're now being final. If it's a G, it was a general operating expense. If it was C, it was a weekly capital expenditure. M is a weekly health insurance claim. T is weekly flexible spending account.
Thank you.
Also receive and file supervisors reports for October, November, and December of 2024.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So those are just receiving. So we don't have any petitions or protests. We don't have any old business. We do have an item for new business. And all of you received it in your email, and it's going to be with the minutes of the meeting for the public. So the resolution is to approve the comptroller's end of year budget transfers for 2024 as specified. Okay. So with that, can we have a motion? Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Second.
Thank you, Sue. And all in favor? I'm sorry, is there any discussion?
No.
Okay.
No.
And so we'll move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, so then it's carried. Thank you. Okay, so just some thank you. So that's the main agenda items, supervisors' announcements, which are always the fun part. So the Recreation Department held its annual Easter egg hunt on May 13th, and well over 300 people attended the event. Thank you so much to Patrick and his staff, the Elks Club for sponsoring it, and all of the volunteers who helped out. It was a great day. It was a lot of fun. I think every kid would say that they had a great time, but I think every adult did as well. So thank you for all your work, Patrick. And Chief Kittner held a community roll call yesterday for members of the community. He presented a lot of information about the police department, crime prevention, and answered questions from residents. Thank you, Stace, for all of your efforts. And thank you to those residents who came and attended. And can I just add, I want to say it wasn't just Stace, but all of our police officers go above and beyond every day, not only to make everything safe for our residents, but also to be responsive for all of their needs. And they do it so well. So I want to thank them as well. The next thing is the registration is now open to Vestal residents for the Recreation Department summer camps. I'm sorry. For more information, go to the vestalrecreation.com. Vendor registration is open until May 2nd for the 2025 Vestal Festival, which will be held on Saturday, June 7th. So if you're interested in being a vendor, please go. Also to Vestal Recreation, and you can inquire in regards. And the warm weather is here. So the Vestal Memorial Pool will be open for the season on Saturday, June 7th. And I just want to reinforce once again that our recreation department does a tremendous job coordinating all these events and hiring all the personnel and getting everything ready for the summer season. And honestly, they work so hard at it, but they do just such a tremendous job. So I want to thank them again. And also, the Vestal Youth Police Academy will be held Monday through Friday, July 7th through 11th for the middle school students, and July 14th to the 25th for high school students. For an application, please contact SRO Tukin at mtukin@vestalny.gov or call 607-221-5493. All school districts are welcome. And thank you to Stace, all the officers, and all of the additional volunteers who make all of that possible as well. And a reminder, a burn ban is in effect through May 14th due to the increased risk of wildfires. And just a reminder, there's a wildfire in New Jersey right now. It's real. So please be careful with it, because for your own sake, but for everybody else's sake as well. Those are all of our announcements. Do any committee chairs have anything else that they would like to add?
Under public safety, as the supervisor mentioned, we did have a police department community roll call last night. Approximately 17 attendees. Special thanks to Chief Kittner, Captain Shirley, Lieutenant Stavola, and Lieutenant Birch for all the work that they did to put this together. They worked on this for quite a while. And it was great to have everybody from the community here. The Vestal Fire Department is hosting firefighter Recruitment Day at all 4 fire stations this Saturday, April 26th, from noon until 3 p.m.
Thank you. Does any other committee member have anything? Okay, great. Thank you. So we're going to move on to the public comment section. So once again, a reminder, this section is for any public comments related to town business. And each speaker must wait to be recognized, only speak during the designated public comment section, state their name and address before speaking, speak at the podium, speak for no more than 3 minutes, only speak regarding town business, be brief and to the point, address comments to the board only, be respectful of all elected officials, town employees, members of the audience, and all other persons. In order to ensure an orderly, productive meeting, residents will be heard before non-residents. Speakers will speak in entirety, then be addressed by the board. So would any resident like to speak?
Hello. Hello.
Hi,
Okay,
There you go.
Thank you.
Hi. Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay. So with the grants season coming up again for New York State grants, is the town planning to apply for the smart growth grants for the comprehensive plan committee? If yes, what will the town be doing differently to hopefully get approved this time? Last time when the grant was denied, the comprehensive plan board was not informed until public meeting. Is the committee still a priority, and what steps will the town take going forward?
And your name, please.
Sorry, Evan McHugh, Belmont Ave, Vestal, New York.
Okay, thank you. Is that, okay. So yes, the comprehensive plan committee is definitely comprehensive plan and the committee are definitely still a priority. The board had to consider whether we would try to fund it ourselves, but we can't. So yes, we will be applying again. We have had discussions with the chair of the committee, and the committee members have requested not only to be involved again, but also to be involved in the preparation of the application this time. So because it is a more complicated grant, because it's a larger amount of money, we will still, the board, I'm sure, will approve hiring a grant writer, but we will make the grant writer at their disposal to have the input that they need. Last time we did the best we could. That was our first time applying for grants as a town, as a concerted effort. And what we were told in exploring that option was that the first time, you might get something, but the more that you apply for the same thing and the more you fine tune your application, the better chance you have to get the money. We have a very strong argument for it because we do not have a comprehensive plan at all, whereas other localities do. I know that I participated in a Zoom meeting to get a debriefing after as to why they did not approve the funds. And they said that 70% of the applications were not approved. So only 30% were approved approximately. My number's a little off, but the vast majority were not approved. So it was a tough fight to begin with. And they made several suggestions in our new application, which we're going to follow. So definitely, we're going to apply again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, does any other resident wish to speak? Yes.
Greg Sarkisian. Previously, you had stated that the 2025 Highway Parks capital projects were approved. I looked at the meeting minutes on January 22nd, and it was approved by all the board members. And there was no amounts, there was no discussion, there was nothing that was provided at that board meeting. So I looked back at the work session. The agenda didn't have any amounts, any attached paperwork, any addendums, nothing. It was only brought up during the meeting that any amounts were discussed. Is this typical process that the public's not informed of things unless you go to every meeting? Questions on that? You also stated last year that capital projects would be included in budgets going forward. Were these included, and were the corresponding bonds and interest payments included in the 2025 final budget? Considering the increase of our property taxes for 2025, Were any of the requested capital projects items questioned or scaled back to avoid burdening the taxpayer with additional liabilities and interest payments for 2025 and beyond? Now on to solar moratorium. Regarding the solar moratorium, please provide specific information as to what has been done since this was enacted on June 12th, 2024. There have been 19 board meetings since then, and nothing has been presented to the public. How many meetings have the Adcock Solar Committee had since March 12th meeting when it was voted to create? How many lawsuits has the town of Vestal currently involved in regarding lack of movement on the solar moratorium? And what is the total amount of legal expenses paid to date for lawsuits stemming from the solar moratorium? It seems like we're spending money that we don't have. We can't get a bond for a comprehensive plan, but we can spend $30,000-$40,000 on lawsuits that we shouldn't be even considering. Solar moratorium, it's done nothing. That's why they got sick of waiting and they sued. What are we doing? Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Let me know if I miss anything. I tried to take notes. So, in terms of the capitals, so the capitals could not be included in the general budget. I mean, ideally, capitals should be rolled into the budget. They were considered and talked to with the department heads during the budget time, so it was a consideration at the time. In terms of physically including them within the budget, we have to make our cap. Now, we had the transition from FD to EMS. So FD became independent. We had a lot of things going on last year. So FD became independent. We had that process, and we had EMS coming under the town umbrella, and establishing a tax district. So in that whole process, the cap comes into play, which is why I bring it up. So the cap, even though technically we went over because of the inclusion of the EMS tax district, we kept the total number of increase in taxes under the tax cap in calculation. And in order to do that, we had to decide how much we could include in the budget. Now, to be included, to try to keep the taxes as reasonable as possible. But the problem is we were hit with something very, very unexpected last year, which was a $300,000 additional payment on Medicare premiums. And that was unexpected. And we were still able to work with our department heads, cut back our general budget to the point where we still maintained our general budget under the tax cap. So we minimized the impact on the residents as much as possible. So we couldn't roll it into the budget because that is included in the tax cap. Were capitals considered and the requirements for it? Absolutely. There are always conversations with the department heads on what is needed and when. Every time that every department head asks for a capital to be included, number one, we consider the necessity of it. And the person has to say why. For the highway department, it's actually a separate district. It's a separate taxing district, so they're a little more independent, but obviously they still answer to the board. They did absolutely explain why they needed it. They went over every single item, and if you look at some of the trucks and things that they needed, they keep their trucks well over 20 years many times, literally to the end of the capacity where they're breaking down and they're not reliable. So they have a plan. They articulated it to the board. Absolutely, it was a strong conversation, and the same with the Parks Department. And those are the two areas that we're considering capitals on. We haven't started the bond process but that's being planned. So that will be coming relatively soon. So yeah, those discussions have been occurring through all along. And I believe that the question also was raised on, did we try to minimize it? Absolutely. For everything that we expend on, or we have to bond for, we ask the question, do we need it and how much do we need it? As Councilman Miller brought up before, we are, knock on wood, going to maintain the grants that we are already had, but we have contingency plans. So if any of our sources of funding that we are counting on do not come through, then we work on it. And so we are going as conservatively as possible this year, and we're planning for the future. So the solar committee. So I don't know if you want to I can tell you that we were sued by the solar companies, and we have mentioned that at meetings as well. And they sued us, and we came through with a very, very strong argument on every single thing that we have done since we started the moratorium. From last January through the beginning, even consideration of the moratorium, we articulated and we documented everything. Whether all of our discussions at the public meetings or individual meetings that we had, the meetings that we had with residents, we had meetings with a solar consultant as well. We have looked at the different solar laws of different towns. We documented everything physically because we needed to make the argument that we are going through all this, and we literally were. Every single month, we articulated every single thing that we did, and I wrote everything out, so I know exactly what was written there. And we have worked all that to there. And to remind everybody, and it's all on videotape, the solar companies at the end, when we consider going into a moratorium, and then once again, to reminder to everybody, we needed to take the time to consider opting out of tax law 457, so that if we have solar companies, number one, we have a solar law that it protects our residents as much as possible. And number two, that they pay their taxes. And so we had to do a lot of legal things, and we had to pass the local laws, and we had to opt out of solar law 457. So we have been working throughout this whole process. We also have now a schedule on how the solar committee is coming back together. We also have, we'll be considering the different drafts of different options. We'll be expanding the solar law. So we have been working for all of that. And we will be coming through with the final expansion of the solar law pretty soon. And Dan, did you want to elaborate on that?
If you like, yeah, I mean, we're, the committee is going to be, addressing a draft on, April 30th. We will have a town board meeting on the 7th, with respect to that. We anticipate that we're going to be voting on a revised solar law on June 11th. That's the time frame that we're working with. That just allows time for discussion. It allows time for revisions. It allows time for a public hearing, and for deliberation.
Yeah, thank you. And can I just say, we took this time, we weren't sitting by the wayside. We were working the entire time. And even up until last number of meetings, we had residents putting forward some information and write-ups and a lot of different things that we were looking at. And we took all of those into account. I do want to thank all the residents who came forward on all different opinions on solar, and gave us documents and resources and things to read. It's a really important thing for our residents that we do this correctly, and that we we protect our residents in whatever we do. So we want, you have to put the do research into it. So we took the time to do that, but we have been working the entire time. So thank you. Does any other resident wish to speak? Okay. So with that, do we have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Sue, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Have a good evening. Here, do you want to just take mine? I'm not even.